You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Yahoo Sports saying Gabe Vincent could be a Bulls target this offseason. No. We're also going to talk about Joakim Noah saying that U.S. players are behind international players, and another dumb Bleacher Report trade idea, this time for Zach LaVine. We're going to get into all and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. But Pat, let's go ahead and get into the crap today, because I'll tell you what. I listen, I love the offseason, don't get me wrong, but Lord knows that these major outlets just be writing anything. We'll talk about that more so in the last topic. But this one, I can honestly see kind of the fit there. So Yahoo Sports wrote that, or asked, should Gabe Vincent be a target for the Chicago Bulls this offseason? Now, Gabe Vincent, who just suffered an injury and will miss tonight's Game 5 and a key crucial one for the Miami Heat. But how are you feeling about Gabe Vincent, his skill set, how it would fit on the Bulls? Pat, how you feeling?
Don't overpay for somebody catching a heater. That's what the Chicago Bulls have done the entire time. I don't know why the Miami Heat wouldn't want Gabe Vincent back. But at the end of the day, right, Gabe Vincent is having an unbelievable run. He's been essentially a great number 3 for Bam and Jimmy Butler. Gabe Vincent averaged 9 points a game this season. He played 25 minutes a game all season. He was a nice player. You don't go out and overpay for Gabe Vincent. Do you like Gabe Vincent? And I know there's people that are going to say, well, he's getting more opportunity. He was getting a ton of opportunity during the season because they were trying to figure out anything that worked. Is he stepping up at the right time? Is he making a name for himself at the right time? 100%. Is he going to get paid? Probably. He's going to get a nice size contract, possibly from the Miami Heat, possibly from somebody else. But I think at the end of the day, my thing with Gabe Vincent is, why is it that just in this moment you've turned into this guy? And what are you adding Gabe Vincent to be?
Well, here's the thing. Skill set wise, does Gabe Vincent not offer a similar skill set to Pat Bev? Not the leadership. I'm talking about just on the floor skill set.
Yeah. Yes and no.
Okay.
I guess yes, right? But like the skill set that I care about Pat Bev bringing was the leadership part. I didn't care as much about him being the point guard. I guess, right, Gabe Vincent kind of in that same boat. You could say that, but I don't know. If you can get him at $5 million, sure. $8 million, sure. But is he coming at that price?
Well, and that's the biggest thing, right? It all comes down to price, right? Because I agree with you. You don't want to overpay for a player like Gabe Vincent. So if you get into a bidding war with Miami, who may want to keep him or anything like that, you don't worry about it. You let him walk, you keep it. But if Gabe Vincent can come in, 26 years old, solid defender, not a great shooter by any stretch of the imagination. I think he shoots like career-wise, maybe like 30-something% for his career, which still close to Pat Bev there.
39% for his career.
39%?
39% for the field for his career.
Oh, from the field. What about from three?
From the three-point line, 33%.
33%. So,
Pat Bev.
Again, Pat very Pat Bev numbers there. And I guess my biggest thing is that with this run that the Miami Heat went on, wherever it ends, whatever it is, did he learn enough leadership skills to come in and be a leader for this team? And then is the team even going to listen to him being only 26 years old, at that point going into his 27-year-old season? Because I agree with you. The best skill that Pat Bev brought was the leadership, was the communication, was the being able to not being willing to back down even the star players and tell them what he needed them to do. If you think Gabe Vincent can bring any of that level of it from being on a team that went on a great run, a run that we would love to see the Bulls be able to go into, I'm not. There are other options I would want. You would have to exhaust every other option. If Gabe Vincent sitting there like, I'll take your $5 million. All right, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. I think that I I wouldn't mind Gabe Vincent, I guess, from the point guard standpoint, if right, like what we said is the case, where you look at the Gabe Vincent and you say Pat Bev's not a top 30 point guard. He's just a guy that knew how to play the position. But realistically, are we talking about Gabe Vincent as a guy that knows how to play the position? We're talking about Gabe Vincent now as a player who has gotten hot from three.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Gabe Vincent, the point guard. That's the part that I need people to understand with this. I would like Gabe Vincent to come to the team as a defender. I don't know if he'll be a leader. I think they would listen to him, right? Because he's coming off a team that's going to an ECF, and you can tell that, right? Like, he's going to be a defensive anchor for this team. Is he a nice filler piece? For sure. Do I think that he would fit well on the team? He plays the point guard role, and everybody else gets to play their role. For sure. But we're not talking about Gabe Vincent, the point guard. We're talking about Gabe Vincent, the guy knocking down the threes.
And I guess here's my also for me to fight against my own point, right? And just for the nature of the conversation.
Yeah.
If the Bulls do go out and get size, let's say they get a 3-and-D wing, let's say they get an actual power forward, and that pushes Alex Caruso to be able to focus on the point guard position and shooting guard, would you rather us run with Kobe, Caruso, maybe Io, if you can re-sign him at a much lower price than what maybe you can even get Gabe Vincent for? Do you think that will be enough to at least hold down the point guard for another year until Lonzo's contract's ready to come off the books, and then we can focus more on adding the size and shooting that we need?
I think it's a very likely move if the Bulls do intend to run it back. If they intend to blow things up like we talked about on the last episode, I think that could be different. But if you intend to run it back, it is a likely move. I think you're talking about a guy who he's going to get more than he's probably worth for a couple of years, and maybe you pay Gabe Vincent a 2-year contract using, whatever you can. I don't hate it. I don't think that it fixes anything, though. I think that it kind of gets you back to where you were at the end of the season. And I don't know if we agree. Well, I guess that does fix things, because we did say Pat Bev could have got us to a 6th seed. It kind of fixes things a little bit. It doesn't fix it to championship level, but it did make Zach LaVine shoot the basketball more. But again, there comes the leadership part of it.
I think it just really comes down to how much does AK and Eversley really think that Kobe's grown as a point guard? Because if you think that he can come in, pick his spots better offensively, but run your offense some, then I can absolutely see them saying, no, we got Caruso, we got Kobe. Let's go ahead and give maybe Io a 2+1 at $3-4 million. And then let's focus on bringing in some size with that mid-level exception. Focus on bringing in a shooter off the wing, and then you don't worry about going out and acquiring another point guard. So it really depends, man. So much is up in air this offseason, bro. Like, the Bulls have one of multiple different ways. And while last season, me and you thought that Arturis was going to be Batman with having all the plans, and it came out that the plan was actually just hoping Lonzo was going to come back. I'm not willing to bet on that. I don't know. Man.
The plan. I'm just always reminded of that SpongeBob episode, dog. I think here's what I'll say. Are you that in desperate need of a point guard? Like you feel like other things can wait? That's the question you really need to ask yourself. Very much covering the Bears, right? You look at kind of some of the stuff that Ryan Poles has done. He's let Cody Whitehair stay the center. He's letting Braxton Jones run it back at left tackle. Are they the best players at that position? Maybe not. Maybe you can go out and get better players at that position right now. But they're not the worst problem on the team. Other things need to be addressed. I think that's kind of where the Bulls are here. Your shooting guard isn't your problem. Your small forward, maybe, but I think that we kind of figured out a little bit of an understanding at the end of last season. Realistically, your center isn't that much of a problem if you look at the fact that he's giving you a double-double every night. Your power forward and your point guard are major issues. Yeah. And you got a couple of guys coming off of the bench that can't shoot.
A couple. We got a bunch. Almost nobody on the bench can shoot.
Well, I mean, Kobe was coming off of the bench, so I included him.
He's the only one.
He's the only one.
He's the only one.
He's the only one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so you got a bench that can't shoot.
Yeah.
So I think that, right, like, you have to figure out what your biggest problem is. To me, your biggest problem is the fact that, like I just said, you have an entire bench that can't shoot.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, hey, we'll see. AK got his work cut out for him, man. As long as he doesn't do this Bleacher Report deal that's at the bottom of this show that we're going to talk about. I mean, like, listen, I'll tell you what. we'll get into it.
You're really on this Bleacher Report deal, dog. I'm not gonna lie.
Report deal is terrible, bro. Like, but I'm sorry. A little preview there to the last segment of the day. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned in through the last segment, man. But before we get into that, next up we're gonna get into Joakim Noah's recent comments, man. But first, I got to talk to you guys. We got a message from one of our sponsors, and that is eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotor.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items, exclusions do apply. Came in hot there. What's that? The intro's doing. Hey, the intro's also fired up about that Bleacher Report trade. It's like, let's get this along.
Everybody's pissed about the Bleacher Report.
Let's get this along.
I don't think it's that bad, man.
But, man, let's talk about
it either.
It's not good either. So, Joakim Noah talked about how international players are kind of ahead of the U.S. players right now. He had some other choice hard words when it came to kind of the game and the growth of the game here in the U.S. How you feeling about these comments, Pat?
I mean, he basically called players from America spoiled. Which I mean, here's the thing. It's not a... When you hear the comments paired with the understanding of what we talked about DeMar DeRozan saying about how half the league or 25% of the league don't really love basketball. When you hear that, when you talk about what Pat Bev said, when he talked about how there's a ton of players in the league that don't love basketball, they don't love the game, they just in this for the lifestyle.
He could have just said Karl Anthony Towns.
I mean, listen, I don't even know that, right? Because I mean, at a minimum, I do see Cat in the offseason working on that 3-point shot. He just might want to take it more in the playoff games and maybe block a shot every now and then. This man calls himself the best shooting big of all time. Takes 3 threes in a game. I don't understand it. But I think that not even in defense of Joakim Noah, but when you see it, realistically, who are the American-born players that are better than the European-born players that have either come after them or have come behind them? I mean, your American-born players right now, you talk about Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards. And granted, some of those guys are much younger, right? But we would say that none of those guys are better than Luka Doncic. We would say that none of those guys are better than Nikola Jokic. And Luka's actually in the age range of Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant, right? What was Luka, 24?
Yeah.
25, something like that?
Something like
that. You're talking about a game where, and I think the thing is, right, just because, here's the one thing I need people to understand. I'll never forget Isaiah Thomas said this: just because guys are black don't mean they from the hood. Giannis is
Ja Morant.
Giannis is, oh, relax. I wasn't going there. No, I wasn't going there. Giannis is a foreign-born player. Embiid is a foreign-born player. A lot of your players that are coming up from Africa, which is why Joakim Noah was talking about this, because he was talking about how raw Africa is when it comes to basketball right now. Raw in the sense of not done yet, not raw like Chicago in the early 2000s. That's what they used to say. If something was cold, it was raw. You know what I mean? Like that's dope. That's raw. That's cold. Like, I feel like you took that a different way.
I probably did, like but you know it is what it is. Just keep going. Just keep going with the show.
Feel like you took it raw a different way. You know what I mean?
Like, I mean, listen. A lot of raw taking around these parts. Keep it going.
Sorry, we breaking down Grady Dick again. But I just feel like, right, like I can't say that he's wrong because I see that the American-born players are behind. The American greats in the NBA right now aren't better than any of the European players. Literally none of them.
Great points. Points were made.
This is an American game.
And what I look at it is this. The way that I look at it is that European players just are more skilled. When you look at the fact that they can all pass and just the fundamental, we get it. How much do me and you talk about? People don't follow their shots anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's just they come in and they work on so many. And Jokic just talked about this before when asked about his passing. Like, they work on everything down there. They don't say that, oh, you're a guard, so you just work on this, or oh, you're a big, so you don't have to worry about this. They don't do that. They work on everything in Europe. And I think when you see that, now you still have to have a certain amount of skill level to be able to make the NBA, absolutely. But if they have that skill paired with how they build those fundamentals of they learn stuff from every position, they are a way ahead. They are.
Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, now internationally, as far as like the Olympics and stuff, we still, when we actually have our stars show up, we're still going to win just because of the nature of the star power. But when you look at the fundamentals and things like that, they are ahead of us.
But the next generation, are we though?
That's a fact.
Because realistically, right, guess what? We're still sending Kevin Durant. We're still sending LeBron James. Maybe not LeBron anymore, but we're still sending Carmelo Anthony still went again, right? Like, we're still sending the best of the best that we had. The next generation, are we going to be sending those guys?
No, and the ones that we would want to send, like Ja, I don't even know if Ja's going to be able to travel by then. He may be stuck in stateside.
Now, I will say this: do we see one of the like Melo keep playing in the Olympics after he's done in the NBA? Because you can do that.
You can, but no, I think Melo's done.
Think Melo's done? You don't think he's gonna get that itch and just be like, "Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. There would be nothing that cements him as a Hall of Famer more than him leaving the NBA and going out there and cooking mugs every.
Well, the thing is that he's Carmelo Anthony is one of the greatest international players to play of all time.
Yeah,
Carmelo Anthony international. Whenever you think about Carmelo Anthony in the NBA, you take that and almost double it. International basketball just fit his game so well.
Yeah. It did, because he could bully, he could be bigger, he could move people out of the way. And I think the thing is too, right? Like how we teach the game in America to me is very different now. I don't know if you've been to a high school game or an AAU game or anything recently, but it don't look the same. The fact that we're doing cross-court passes on a regular basis. I remember coaches just screaming visceral hate if you threw a cross-court pass, even if the pass got through. Right. The fact that, like you said, not following your shot. These are not things that are like, oh, man, that's the old man's game. No, these are things that I see Nikola Jokic do all the time. And that's why he gets extra rebounds. These are things that I see Giannis do all the time. And that's why he gets extra rebounds, extra opportunities to shoot the basketball. These are things that I see Joel Embiid do. These are things that I see, right? Like, Luka don't do much. I ain't gonna lie. Luka out there to score. Luka say, I'm out here to score. Sometimes I'm gonna pass this mug to you. You better knock it down.
I agree. But when Luka first came into the league, he was doing those things. Like, Luka literally is like, oh, nobody can stop me scoring. All right, bet I ain't got to do none of that no more. Like, Luka used to do those things himself as well.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I look at it's not a hate towards American players. I still think that I think that the next generation is still very young of American players, but I've never seen this kind of a gap where I can't look to an American player and say he's the competing for the best player in the NBA. I can't say that. I mean, I guess maybe I could. Like, what do we count Kobe as?
Kobe's American born though, bro.
I mean,
he's American, bro. He's American.
Yeah, well, he finished in Philly though. Actually, isn't he not American born though?
Kobe was born in America.
Was he born here? I know he went to high school in Philly.
He's much like me. He's much like me. He was born in America, but I think they moved overseas when he was extremely young, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought he might have been born over there.
He was born in Philly. He was born in Philly.
And then they moved to Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, much like me. Get your culture.
I don't even mean it like that. Like, real talk. Like,
I spend time overseas and I speak German on occasion.
On occasion. Only when needed. You tested me the other day sending me that article. But
when we thought the Bears was going to play in Germany, Germany was writing that the Bears is coming. I sent this man an article like, hey, bro, what this say? It all sounds German to me. But hey, I think at the end of the day, when you look at this, you see that there's a gap being created, and you ask yourself, are you going to see that gap start to close? And I'm not going to lie, your next best player coming out is Victor Wembanyama, and then you get Brandon Miller, and then you get the Scoot Henderson. It's not even a question. That's very different.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we'll see, man. And I mean, as the game continues to grow, it's going to continue to evolve as well. And we'll see. And I mean, let's not act like American bigs aren't starting to do that as well. Like you look at, no, because I was just about to mention Embiid, and that's not it. Yeah.
Give me an American big that's dominating out here.
Well, I mean,
is Paolo American? Paolo might be American. Paolo might be the same.
Isn't American.
Paolo's not American. Where's Paolo from?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Hey, this is the weird part. It feel like Paolo's not American with the last name Banchero, but I thought he was born here.
Oh, he was. He was born in Seattle, Washington. Look at that.
I thought he was born here. I thought he grew up here. So yeah, he grew up in Italy.
Grew up in Italy.
Dang, is this the next Kobe? All right. Can we claim Paolo? He grew up in Italy though.
He speaks with an accent though.
We might not be able to claim Paolo, bro. We might not be able to claim Paolo. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. He was American born, but I don't know about that one. That's tough. All we left with is Wendell Carter.
All right, we're moving right along. Next up,
why you got shade for Wendell? He didn't do nothing.
Exactly. That's why he didn't do nothing. Thanks for getting my back on that one. Thanks for throwing me that alley there, brother.
I got you there, bro.
Oh, man.
Wendell didn't catch it.
Anyway, let's talk about this whack trade that I've been alluding to all. Did you have the trade up?
I do still have the trade up here. So the trade would be for Zach LaVine gets traded to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, and the trade is now, where did the trade go? I had the trade up. I know it's Tyler Hero and Nikola Jovic.
Duncan Robinson and two first-round picks.
And Duncan Robinson, yep. Yeah. Why would Miami? I'm gonna let you cook. I'm gonna just let you cook on this because you've been so upset about this trade the entire show.
Oh my God. Okay, here's the thing, right? I get it. I understand that Zach can net you back a lot. And while I'm not saying the Bulls, if they get an amazing deal, that they should not consider it if it's for Zach LaVine. That's not at all what I'm saying here. So please do not confuse me and my disgruntledness with this deal, saying that if a great deal comes along, you should not move LaVine for it. But you're getting back Tyler Hero. No. You're getting back Nikola Jovic. We got him. His name's Marko Simonovic. He ain't played a lick. We got that already. You're getting back Duncan Robinson. I don't need any Backstreet Boys on my team. And then the 2 first-round picks from the Miami Heat. Do we think that we're going to get sub-lottery picks back for Zach LaVine? That's what we're doing? 2 sub-lottery picks? This deal makes no sense, bro. None. And the Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley wrote this. Buckley, we got some beef, brother. We got beef.
You buckling under the Buckley beef? Is that what you're telling me? Here's the tough part, right? It's one of those things to me that when I see this trade, if I'm trading Zach, I feel like I can do better.
Exactly.
I feel like the Portland trade that we talked about might be more of a realistic option because of how all in they want to go. Here's the tough part about the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat might be making the NBA Finals tonight.
Exactly.
With this team. Oh, by the way, Tyler Hero hasn't played. He hasn't played a game since game 1 of the playoffs. He broke his hand in game 1, right?
I think so.
Like, Tyler Hero hasn't played. Why would they move on for, like, why would they go get Zach LaVine? We got to get Jimmy Butler more help than the NBA Finals.
I mean, it depends on how it ends in the finals.
He's done it twice.
Yeah.
With the same team, dang near.
The problem is this, too, is that directly worded in this article, I'm just going to say this. This package is as good as any that Chicago can hope to land for Zach LaVine. In what world? World?
I mean, I guess, right. Here's the thing. Let's talk about how the trade could work for the Bulls in this situation. You add in Jovic realistically in this sense. Now you're playing more of your young guys. You let Vooch walk. Or you sign and trade Vooch. Because there is an entire thing with this. There's basically 3 parts to this article. DeRozan gets traded to the New York Knicks for RJ Barrett and Isaiah Hartenstein. Tyler Hero to the Bulls with Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, Tyler Hero, and 2 first-round picks for Zach LaVine. And swapping centers, sign and trade Vooch for Ayton, and you send Patrick Williams to the Phoenix Suns as well. It's a reset of the entire roster. But is it the best reset? I guess you're adding the shooting. Tyler Hero's a good shooter. Duncan Robinson seems like he's found his stroke again.
At that point, it doesn't matter for adding shooting, though. We're getting worse, considerably worse. It doesn't matter for
you're making DeAndre Ayton your number one.
Yeah, see, no, that's a mistake there. Like,
but in retrospect, I think DeAndre Ayton's biggest crybaby moment is the fact that he's not the number one.
Well, he also is also sucks when he doesn't have a point guard to get him involved. But you're at that point. You're so the totality of this whole article, if that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
you're talking about at that point moving forward with a core of R.J. Barrett, Isaiah Hartenstein, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. At that, we've already given up Patrick Williams in one of these trades. Yep. So you don't have P. Will. You got Dalen Terry and DeAndre Ayton, bruh.
You'll be able to shoot. You'll be able to shoot.
You know what I want to say, right? They're smoking something I can't say on they're smoking Grady. That's what they are. They're smoking Grady.
Oh.
We'll let y'all figure it out. They smoking Grady
from the quarter.
But
crazy.
And the thing about this is you do a completely blow up of the roster and you don't get any lottery picks back. That's a big problem in this as well.
Yeah. It makes you here's the thing though. I guess the argument on it when you look at the Eastern Conference as well. It still makes you probably a mediocre team in the East. You're already a mediocre team in the East, and you're overpaying for half the guys on this roster.
Yes. Listen, but
like it doesn't. Like I think in this situation, you're probably hoping for the let's go out there and still be competitive, but at least we know we have pieces on this team that will eventually move on from. Although no, because RJ Barrett just got the bag.
I'm about to say him and DeAndre Ayton just got bags. And Duncan Robinson still has 2 years left on that deal?
That's your core, ain't it? That really is your core. Your core is RJ Barrett, Tyler Hero, and DeAndre Ayton.
And Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson is under contract to the 2027 offseason. That's a core. No, I'm good on that, bro. I'm good on that.
How many games does that core win?
I guess
here's the tough part. I don't feel like it's that far off from 40 games.
Bro,
I don't know if it gets you better, but I don't feel like it's different.
Bro, I need you to take a nap. You sleep. You've been working a lot, bro.
You don't think so? How many games do you think that wins?
32 games at the most. And that's a struggle over 32 games at that.
DeAndre Ayton's your clear one on that team. He probably does more.
There's still no point guard. There's no point guard on the roster.
Tyler Hero, RJ Barrett.
Point guards?
Or no, because here's the thing. Are you keeping Kobe White?
Point guards. I keep saying you keep naming people that aren't point guards. I keep saying point guards.
Listen, you the one that brought up Kobe White getting some run at point
on this version of the team.
RJ Barrett can play point. DeAndre Ayton can play point.
I would assume was your de facto number.
We
your
still
point guard.
Get Gabe Vincent. We signed Gabe Vincent.
We signed Gabe Vincent still.
We signed Gabe Vincent. And we got a core of all the people the Miami Heat were ready to move on from.
On this series of moves as well. You've gotten technically younger, but then you still get given up some of your young pieces like I don't know. Like this whole series of deal to me is he was smoking some major Grady that night when he wrote that article. That's all
I think here's how does this team work with Billy as well?
It's too big. It's too much size.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Isaiah Hartenstein will never see the court.
That's what I'm saying.
RJ Barrett will never see the court. Or RJ Barrett will be playing center.
And DeAndre Ayton on the same team.
Ayton never see the court.
You said RJ Barrett running point. RJ Barrett's running power forward the whole time. That's all it is. In
this situation, the only thing that I think benefits you is the fact that DeAndre Ayton would finally get to play the 4, and you can put somebody else at the 5.
Listen, I commend you for keep trying to find some positivity in this deal. You just said that it's a positive that DeAndre Ayton sees the 4, bro.
DeAndre Ayton needs to be a 4. He's not
DeAndre
a 5.
Ayton. No,
he's not a 5.
DeAndre Ayton needs to stop eating fofos. That's what he needs to stop doing.
DeAndre Ayton to me is I forget who somebody said this about, but it applies to DeAndre Ayton so well. He's a small forward that was too stupid to stop growing. Like, that's how I look at DeAndre Ayton. Like, he's not a center. He shouldn't be down there guarding centers. He shouldn't be banging in the paint with these mugs. He's not a center.
He's a 26% three-point shooter for his career.
Oh, yeah. That's why you put him at the 4.
Bro, this is the modern NBA. You have to shoot threes at least somewhat respectable to be a 4 in the NBA. Unless you're a backup 4.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad 4s out there. Unless they just said now it's small forwards. That's a 4.
but they're not getting paid almost $30 million to be a bad forward.
That's true. That's very true.
Hey man, listen.
I don't know, man. That's a tough trade.
Buckley was smoking Grady's on that one, and that's all I got to say. I said what I got to say.
That's a tough trade, man. That's a tough trade. It's one of those trades that it's like you made moves.
I mean,
like stuff happened.
But that's the thing too. Even in this, they made a bunch of moves, but do you still feel like there's a direction in this? Like, what's the direction at that point?
Well, I mean, you get first round picks back, which you lost your first round pick to San Antonio 2025. I'm assuming there's a 2025 pick in there, probably a 2027 pick in there or something like that. And you got your first round pick next year. I guess your feeling is that you at least can build through the draft. But again, my biggest question is we have the 18th overall pick who's played the least out of any 18th overall pick in NBA history. Are you going to play guys?
There you go.
Are you going to play guys? He probably is, honestly.
Yeah. I'm done, bro. Like, that trade broke my brain, bro.
Hey, man, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Y'all check on Haize in about an hour, bro. He going through it over here.
Y'all can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. And you can find me on Twitter, clowning Zach Buckley for smoking Grady's. But other than that, man, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls, man. We out, y'all. Peace.
Smoking what?